Good morning, Cowboy Jim here in northern Alberta. Not really the north, I guess. It's kind of the north. And nice day out here today. Sun shining, sky is blue, and the air is clean smelling. I mean, we in the north, in spite of the fact that we're in the process of cleaning up the world's greatest natural oil spill, I believe, known to mankind. Um, we do really care about the environment. We care about First Nations people. Some of my best friends are grew up on reservations and whatnot, and boy, I tell you, I've learned quite a bit in my years, and that is, you do not judge anyone by their color, nor by their choice of religion, nor by anything other than their attitude, whether it's good, respectful, or not, or whether it's just corrupt. And I have been honored with some good friends in the North, and I sit out in the morning and I have my coffee and yeah, I enjoy a cigarette, and it's my choice, and been doing it for a while, and I suppose change is not impossible, but you have to want change, and you have to. It's kind of like physical fitness. You have to have a game plan and stick to some form of discipline. Hey, I'm Irish. Discipline's a hard thing, but I take a shot at it. Um, I, of course, grew up paying attention to current events and watching leaders in our community as I was growing up. And always the doctors were very, very important. I mean, the solace of knowing that you may have your life saved before it's forfeited through your own stupidity, usually. Um, and and so that was a physical side, and then there was a spiritual side, and it didn't matter whether it were a priest, a minister, a pastor. Um, People in spiritual leadership were respected. Nowadays, respect is in short supply, and there are reasons for that. Truly, there are. People must needs earn respect, not just be accorded respect because they are gray haired or something. Shoot, if that were the case, I'd be in wonderful shape, wouldn't I? But I'm not in wonderful shape because I know that I have to speak one thing on a Sunday morning and I have to live it out on a Monday. And I don't find that difficult depending on what it is I said on Sunday. But I I watch Fox News. Um, on the rarest of occasion, I will watch CTV. Young man by the last name of Solomon, and Evan, I think is his first name. Good kid. Does not allow politicians to lie their way um, around subject matter, and doesn't. And I am adamantly encouraged by the guts that our Canadian Freedom Convoy demonstrated and their desire to honor our country in spite of our politicians. And in many ways to reverence and respect law and order in spite of the rare occasion when a person who purports to represent law and order, they're not worthy of the respect that they must needs be accorded. That goes too down in the States with political leadership and or the lack thereof. Same up here with Trudeau. And in the States, they are saying that Joe Biden, uh, President of the United States of America, the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi, Lion Schiff, people like that, on both sides of the aisle, there are good and there are bad. Joe Manchin down there in the States, he's one of the good ones. He's a Democrat. And a little girl by the name of Cinema, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And there are good and there are bad politicians who are not worthy of the title they hold. Ergo, so many politicians get into that business, it's a business, um, and they're broke. And by the time they're done, they're filthy, filthy. Well, they are filthy, but they're filthy rich. And so I watch very open-mindedly, true objectivity, because I don't judge people. I will not argue. I do not believe that my opinion is any more important than the person sitting next to me. It's just that it's my opinion. But I won't put anyone down because their opinions are diverse from mine. But I do watch, and I'm telling you, I really watch. And right now in the States, there is no um, amount of formula for babies. And not all babies can be breastfed. And I mean, nowadays, it seems that the equity that is placed, the value that is placed upon a baby is nominal at best. And I don't understand that at all. Like, I, I'm sorry, I don't. I don't have a clue. Um, but I watch um, Joe Biden and his immoral family of business people, even though they don't know how to run a business, probably never have, but they know graft and they know coercion and they know how to flaunt their positional place in government as politicians, and they do, and it's not right. And but it is the way it is, and so there's no equity in whining and complaining. But neither is there equity in just watching. Oh, I mean, I look up and there's a Supreme Court down in the States, and the people in the Democratic side of the government encouraging people to protest outside the homes of those whose job it is to disseminate, sort through, establish the application of law and order. And people, they do what are called talking points. And a talking point is something that has a semblance of truth in it, but there's no depth to it. It's like the Vice President of the United States, oh, Camilla Harris. Oh, gee whiz, yes. Don't hold your breath waiting for something intelligent to come out of that dear lady's mouth, because it's not going to happen. Because talking points are so uh, misconstrued. They are so uh, evil, really. I don't know how else you would say that. You have Joe Biden down there, and he is putting forth the idea that the United States of America has to donate, give to, loan, whatever, to the Ukrainian people $40 billion in aid. And it sounds good. It sounds so good. Thankfully, 50 members of the Republican Party down there voted against it, because when they put a bill together, they do. It's kind of like when you're reading directions on a bottle of spice. You can usually tell if the manufacturer is honest. The dominant spice that is available in the material that you're putting on your food, and it is by the first thing listed, usually it's salt. Well, salt's important. I know a nutritionist, and oh my, if she knew how much salt I do not eat, and it's wrong. But down in the States, they will take a bill, and the government, whoever's in power, um, conservatives are just as bad as the liberals. The liberals are worse by a country mile, but they will jam a bill with everything that they can possibly think to put into the bill that looks as though they are helping and they're standing with a cause, but really they're not. Their cause that they're standing with is their own self gratification, and they're standing with that. And so sometimes even a conservative with enough guts will vote against the lying hypocrisy of people who say, "Hey, don't watch what I do, but you watch and listen to what I say." It's hypocrisy, and so uh, the mothers in the States, they can't get formula for the babies. Think about that. Well, think about, oh, the last couple of years where we have gone through such horror of follow the science. Well, you're further off to follow the money because the money will take you where the science wants to take you, and you'll at least see who's making a profit on the back of the people suffering from what is called fear. In the early 80s, it was touted by the scientists of the day that we were about to enter into an ice age, a bloody ice age. Can you imagine? An ice age. And now, 20 years later, well, instead of it being an ice age, it's global warming. Global warming. Oh, oh, oh. And meantime, true politicians will never allow a good tragedy to go to waste. So the Democratic Party down in the States, they're busy not finding formula for the babies of the United States of America. I mean, shoot, all they'd have to do is do a phone call up here to that puppet that we have down there in Ottawa named Justin Trudeau and say, we need formula. But Canadian formula for babies, it's not allowed to go across the border because there was no peace agreement about that. There was no trade agreement about that. Because there's no trade agreement, it's not allowed. The babies, yes, they will suffer. They have suffered. They'll continue to suffer because Canadian formula is not socially acceptable to cross the border and save the lives of those little babies who, I'm telling you, when it costs you $50 for a container of formula that might last 3 or 4 days, that's more expensive than a 5-gallon pail of milk replacer for a colt, for a horse, for a colt, a baby, whatever, a filly. And people, they listen to the processed hay out the tail end of a horse. And that's what it is. When you're listening to a politician, that is what it is. And they hear a semblance of truth and they lose their minds because the Supreme Court, they want to return the decision making about abortion to the people of the states. The individual states, the Supreme Court is saying, listen, we do not believe it's our right to disseminate this law in the manner that it has been done, Roe versus whatever. Who cares? But they want to give the power for such decisions to the individual states, where the individual states, through right voting, not right because it agrees with me or agrees with someone else. No, not right like that, but it's not the place of the United States Supreme Court to determine secondary issues. You say, "Oh, abortion's not." It is. It is not a secondary issue. It is a critical issue. Whether you believe a child is uh, a living entity at the point of inception, or as in California, I flippantly said the other day that you can abort a child upwards to 2 weeks after it's born in California, but apparently that's not quite true. You can abort a child 1 minute before it is born. Think about that. You think about the respect that we're supposed to have for life. And politicians, the bastards, and they are, fatherless children sounds better. They make decisions premised on what will get them reelected. So yes, the babies in the states are going without the proper nutrition because the United States does not have a trade agreement with Canada in this time of emergency. And it is an emergency down there, but the Biden administration, they will send 40 million, 40 billion, that's with a B. That's 40 times 1,000 million. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. And they want to send it to the Ukraine. I am in absolute support of the Ukrainian people. I am totally anti Putin, as I am totally anti Biden, as I am totally anti Xi Jinping, as I am totally anti uh, Justin Trudeau. I am. Because of talking points, a semblance of truth, but it's not real. It's not real. And if it were real, instead of sending 40 billion, and doesn't that sound good? Oh, geez, we're a caring people. The people in the United States, led by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, they don't give a rat's ass about the American people, and they don't give anything care-wise about the Canadian people either. What they want is to further their agenda. It's like politicians say, "Hey, don't you dare let a tragedy go to waste without furthering your agenda." Such base corruption as to be disgusting. Someday, I believe, if democracy is able to withstand the onslaught of lying politicians, perhaps we will get more people. And you say, "Oh, I hate Donald Trump." Well, why? Everything he said he did. I mean, the United States, their fuel was less than $2 a gallon. Now it's closer to 7. Everything he did, he did. He didn't need money. Everything he did for you and I. I mean, even Joe Manchin came up and had a visit with Kenny up here in Alberta to ask, what would it take to get 800 million or something barrels of oil shipped south? Well, it'd take about a year and a half to get the pipeline finished, and and that's where it'd be going. So listen, children, don't get upset. It's Monday morning, for crying out loud. It's a wonderful day. Get out and enjoy the sunshine. Put a smile on your face because you're not going to get out of this life alive. But don't you let politicians and the corrupt people, and there are corrupt people, oh dear Lord, don't allow them to ruin your lives. Thank God for the benefits that we have. Think on good things once. It's difficult. And I'll probably have a little note on my stupid YouTube. This is a conspiracy theory. Well, what the hell? Guess it could be. God bless you. God bless you. Remember that God loves you. Remember, baby children have no right to experience the abuse that people have heaped upon them. It's not the kids' fault. It's a corrupt people. It's a corrupt people who hate. Hmm. No value in hating children. Anyways, God bless you. Not sure what I'll call this one, but we'll call her something. Thank you. God bless. Over and out from Cowboy Jim up here. God bless.